turnovers, 34 to 15. Let's look at some of the players. Luke Recker had a big game, 21 points, and a lot of minutes spread around that ball game. Recker had the best.
Well, what did he play minute-wise? Did you say about 20 minutes out of the ball? What a great time efficiency that was. You know, he didn't played about half the ball game, and seemingly everything he did was right. He worked tough on the offense, shot it in, dished it off when he had to, and even tried to play some good hard defense, which you put all that together, that's a whale of a night.
Great shot there from the outside.
Coach, he seems to come
There's
out.
that defense he's talking about.
He used to come out looking to score points, where the last 2 or 3 games he kind of has let the offense come to him, not looking to score as much.
Yeah, I've noticed this in practice also. In practice, he's not gunning it up like he was earlier. He's fitting more into it than he has been before. Really good.
Inside, William Gladness continues to play well, shooting well from the field, even some passing there.
He's on top of his game. You know, you don't watch him, he'll fall off in a trap. You know, he gets his head down and for some reason loses his spirit and his enthusiasm. But when he's on top of the ball game there with a great baseline move over a bigger guy, you know, and I think that's indicative of how he can play. Got to keep his head up and keep him out of the traps.
Well, I thought you saw William Gladness handle the ball in a number of situations where last year he wouldn't have even probably caught it. He's come a long way.
Much more confidence. Also gaining confidence, Kirk Haston, just a freshman, continues to play well off the bench.
Playing a little tougher, a little bit more physical. He's really a light, soft player. And one of the things that Coach Knight has been working on is to get him into it to where he's tougher. Maybe the best thing, somebody hit him right up between the eyes tonight early, and let's just see how we'd react to that, because the skills are in there. He's just got to get tougher.
I think he's one of the real keys to Indiana. Being a guy 6'8", 6'9" that can step out and hit that 15-footer, somebody you really need come Big Ten season.
And a lot of even scoring in last night's game. It's something Indiana look for again. All the players getting a chance to score. All right, time now for our IU Flashback. It's brought to you by Touchstone Energy Partners. We are Indiana's electric cooperative. Several fast breaks in yesterday's ball game. Important to watch. Your fast break is faster when the ball's not dribbled but passed.
How about that? That's a picturesque. You know, that one ought to go in the highlight reel.
Again, down the floor, no passing, and looks pretty.
Right, and that's a center making that touch pass we had that last night on the highlight. And all of that scoring then was off of our defense too, which is really
Hurricane Hoosiers once more. Time now to check our Lowe's IU trivia question. What is the one-game scoring record in the Hoosier Classic? We'll be back with the answer. Lowe's knows.
Imagine TV. It's all under
different problems or different challenges or different approaches required from us or from any team to play one game and then the next game and then another game, and no 2 games are alike. And we found last night in our game with Drake, as I watched Drake play on tapes that we had, maybe 3 different games, I guess, maybe 4. There's always a range that you think can take place in a ball game. It's going to be a very tight game. It's going to be back and forth all the way through, where we're going to really have to scramble to stay in contention. It's a game that we ought to be able to break to some point in the game, and rarely do you ever think here's a game that we can just break open. And that certainly was not part of my thinking going into last night's game. We played defensively very, very well in the game last night. Played aggressively, came up with a basketball. The defense aided a lot to our offensive play, and that's always a big plus in any game that you play. Drake had played against some pretty good basketball teams and had played very well against them. I'm sure that they were very disappointed in the way they played last night, but we had to be very, very pleased in the way that we played. Now, last night's game with Drake was basically a game from our standpoint defensively where we really had to play on the perimeter. They had taken maybe 43 or 44% of their shots were 3-point shots. So our emphasis was to really play tight and to make it as difficult as possible to get set up out on the perimeter to take the 3-point shot. And we did a pretty good job of that. We limited them, I think, to 20 shots from the perimeter on threes. They just made 5 or 6 of those. We got good pressure. We made it difficult to put the ball on the floor. So our perimeter defense in last night's game was very good, and it was what we wanted to have in that particular ball game. Now, in the game tonight, in playing Ball State, the challenge and the change is that Ball State has a very strong inside game. They post high and low, or they post in a tandem post, and they've got a kid named Johnson who's a very, very good post player, very quick, works to get position, is a really good worker inside. And they'll look to take the ball to one guy in the post and maybe bring the guy up and hit it into him, and he'll change position. Or they force you to help because of how good Johnson moves right here. You bring your defensive man A over in here, and they reverse the ball and step in and post on the other side. I think they do the best job of playing an inside game of any team that we've played thus far in the season. Their perimeter people are quick. They drive the ball well. They put you in a position where you have to help, and when you help, there's a rotation that has to take place, or you're going to get burned. As an example, in last night's game, we gave up a couple baskets on something like this. Drake posted a player. They punched the ball into the post man. Our defensive man here came back in to help, and he made a cut. Now, as he made this cut, we should have had defensive players right here and right here to make that cut something that they couldn't get anything out of. But our defensive players a couple of times were out of position. They were out in here, and they were able to get a couple of baskets out of that kind of cut and movement. So you've got to be very careful when you're playing against a team like Ball State that has a very good inside game, that you don't help to the extent that other people get open because of that. And that's the thing that you should watch in our game tonight. We've got to do a good job defending the inside, and yet their perimeter players, and they alternate 4 or 5 kids on the perimeter, are quick, and they drive the ball well. They go both left and right. Helping on the post and recovering to contain the ball will be very important to us in our play in the game tonight. Then I was also impressed with how aggressive Ball State played defensively in the game last night against Bucknell. They came out, they pressured people, they went after the ball, they double teamed on occasion, and played with a real intensity and a sense of purpose defensively. So again, the challenges are different from one game to another, but the thing that we're trying to do just remains constant throughout every game we play, right? From the beginning of the season in the Seton Hall game right through the Ball State game tonight and on into Big Ten play, and that's to just try and improve to the point where whatever we are, we're there at the end of the season. We're as good as we can be as we get done, and we get better and better and better as we go along. And I think that I can't remember back 4 or 5 years ago to the point where we've had as many good results from defensive play as we've had with our team in the last few ball games. So we certainly hope that our defensive play can continue to improve. We need to improve on one thing, and it's a very simple, fundamental, the pass. Our passing is not as good as it is. We make too many marginal passes. We take too many chances with passes right now. Last night in the first half, our perimeter players had 10 turnovers, which just is really unacceptable if we're going to have good offensive play. In the second half, our perimeter people cut that down to 3, so it made a big difference in our offensive play. And I think the passing, if we can get our passing to the point where we're making good passes, we eliminate marginal passes, we eliminate passes that are made with poor judgment, it becomes a real asset to us offensively. So from an offensive standpoint, that's the thing you could be looking for out of us in tonight's game.
Each Sunday on WB4, you have 2 chances to compete hard
you know, it's almost like they'd like to come back and prove to Coach Knight, hey, you know, I could have played, you know, maybe at IU, something like that. You can bet they're going to play hard and give a great effort.
Last year at this time, Indiana only lost one game, about 11-1, and you mentioned that although the record was good, you didn't think they were very good, and that panned out in the Big Ten. Not the kind of season they had. This year, 12-2, there seems to be a better chemistry, better defensive ability on this team.
Yeah, and I'm much more impressed with the 12-2 Indiana Hoosiers I see this year than the 11-1 team I saw last year. It's a team that's gotten much more difficult to defend. I mean, you've got Rob Turner scoring points, Gladness scoring points, Recker, Guyton. I mean, everybody is starting to score points. Last year was basically Guyton and Recker had to score the points. Everybody can score points. Haston had 12 off the bench last night. I mean, it's a team that's very difficult to defend. They put a lot of pressure out on the perimeter, and they really get in the passing lane. Coach Knight has to be very, very happy. But tonight, it's important for them to continue to get better and better in what they're doing because
Hoosiers play host to the Cardinals of Ball State. Talk about pressure. Indiana's never lost in the Hoosier Classic, and these Hoosiers don't want to be the first. Last night, they blitzed Drake by 56 points, establishing a new Hoosier Classic record. For the second game in a row, the defense forced more than 30 turnovers. Tonight, Indiana tries to stay perfect in the Hoosier Classic as they take on intrastate rival Ball State. Square Arena in Indianapolis, Indiana. It's the championship game of the 17th annual Hoosier Classic. The Ball State Cardinals come in at 6-3 to take on the Indiana Hoosiers 12-2, who have never lost a game in the Hoosier Classic. Hello, everybody. John Laskowski along with Ted Kitchell. And I tell you, I like these games. A lot of Indiana high school players on both teams.
Yeah. Josh Murray will be one of the players from Ball State. Came off the bench last night, scored 10 points for the Ball State Cardinals.
All right, let's take a look now at Luke Recker. He had a wonderful game for Indiana last night, 21 points, although he only played 20 minutes.
Yeah, only played 20 minutes. He had 21 points. He also had 5 rebounds, 5 steals. He had a full night's work in only 20 minutes. Not really forcing the offense. You're going to see him hit a number of jump shots right here, but he's really gotten into the offense, and I think that has a lot to do with other people for Indiana scoring points. He has a lot of confidence in the rest of the players.
For Ball State, we mentioned Josh Murray. He came off the bench and had a good game for Ball State last night.
And he is one of those Indiana kids, which we mentioned. Came off the bench, had 10 points. You can see 7 rebounds, and they'll need all 10 and 7 rebounds again tonight against a very good Indiana team.
And now let's look at tonight's fueling factors, brought to you by Fast Max. If it's got to be fast, it's got to be Max.
For the Ball State Cardinals, they need to handle the IU pressure. The IU defense forced 34 turnovers last night against Drake. Ball State needs to take care of the basketball. A game in the 60s would be very good for Ball State. Low-scoring game. They've won 44 straight when holding opponents under 60. By the way, Indiana is averaging almost 94 points a game in its last 4 games. For Indiana, they must limit turnovers. Ball State forces almost 20 turnovers a game from its opponents. Indiana's guards need to make better decisions when handling the basketball, especially when feeding the post. Offensive rebound, Ball State's very good offensive rebounding team. Indiana must limit Ball State's second chance points if they expect to win their 17th straight Indiana Hoosier Classic.
It'll be a sellout crowd. Lots of Ball State fans here, too. Kirk Haston comes off a big night last night. We'll be back with the starting lineups after this.
For head coach Ray McCallum and his Ball State Cardinals, not a real big team, and as you see, they'll start with 3 guards, Cedric Moody and Mickey Hozier, along with Dwayne Clemens. Their leading scorer comes in averaging almost 13 points a game. Last night had a team-high 16, hitting 3 of 4 from the three-point line. Inside, they'll have Marcus Mason and Wayne Johnson. For the Indiana Hoosiers, who come in averaging over the last 4 games almost 94 points a game, they've got A.J. Guyton at guard, along with Rob Turner. Rob Turner, a big game last night, 11 points. He'll get his 5th start tonight. The inside players will be Luke Recker, William Gladness, and Larry Richardson.
When we come back, we'll have the opening tap of the championship game of the Hoosier Classic.
You know what ticks me off? Well, a lot. But the main thing is a phony. That's why I like these Arby's chicken fingers. They're the genuine article, none of that processed nugget stuff.
Arby's chicken fingers are big, crispy strips of real all-white meat chicken.
That looks good. That's real, not phony. I can't stand phony.
Down, boy.
sorry.
Don't settle for anything but Arby's real all-white meat chicken fingers.
For years, Citizens Insurance Company has helped Indiana provide for the common defense with auto, home, and business insurance. And now we provide strength in numbers by offering special discounts on home and personal auto insurance to members of qualified professional associations, helping ensure the domestic tranquility of the largest and smallest of interest groups. Citizens Insurance Company, proudly serving Indiana through your local independent insurance agent.
Want to spend New Year's Eve with a pretty woman? Not me! Usher in the new year with Julia Roberts and Pretty Woman. I'm Karen George. Join me as I host a WB4 movie event.
Tell you what, this is fate, Edward. That's what this is.
And live reports from New York City when they drop the ball. And then the kickoff to our year-long celebration of the new millennium. Pretty Woman, New Year's Eve at 10:30 right here on WB4.
Back at the Hoosier Classic, ready for the opening tap. There's Ray McCallum, the Ball State head coach. Played his basketball in Muncie, an 83 graduate of Ball State.
Indiana with the opening tip. Man-to-man for Ball State. Look for Indiana to try to take that ball down inside, take advantage of their bigger people. See A.J. Guyton with a tremendous height advantage over Mickey Hoser.
Hoser at 5'11". Lots of hustle and no and a steal. Cedric Moody all the way down and lays it in.
Good hands by Cedric Moody right there, knocking the ball away from Luke Rector as he tried to take it inside.
Ball State the early lead and man-to-man defense.
Ball State not a very big team, as we mentioned. They'll come out with 3 guards, but they are very, very strong inside. They're a good offensive rebounding team, and they've got some good inside players.
Outside shot, Rob Turner, a three-pointer.
Not a good sign for Ball State. Rob Turner starts knocking down jump shots. Have to move up on him. He can drive to the basket. And also open up A.J. Guyton and Luke Rector for outside shooting.
There's Hoser, he is the point guard.
It'll be interesting to see how Ball State handles Indiana's pressure. Indiana's defensive pressure seems to start somewhat lax, and it gets better and better as the game goes on. Good dump right there by Wayne Johnson.
Hits it over to Marcus Mason. 6'5" junior lays it in, and Ball State the lead again now, 4-3.
Indiana will continue to look to double-team Johnson whenever the opportunity is available.
Rob Turner double-team, Richardson blocked, and off Clemens. Dwayne Clemens, number 12.
Take a look at Ball State. You can see Wayne Johnson. Coach Knight talked about what a good post player he was, but right there is what makes him such a good post player. He feels the double team, a triple team. That's in that situation able to drop the ball up against an Indiana defense. If you're the main scorer, you can see he had 10.6 rebounds last night. If you're the main scorer, they're going to double team you. When they do double team, you've got to drop the ball off to the open man.
The officials over with Ray McCallum, Randy Curry, Sam Licklider, and Jerry Petro. All for the Big Ten. There's a good look at Ray. Terrific guy.
A very late call by the official, and that's what Ray McCallum and the Ball State bench a little upset with. Larry Richardson went up, didn't go up real strong. They slapped it away. The official over in front of the Ball State bench came all the way across, called the foul.
As Richardson hits both free throws, and Indiana gets the lead back.
Ball State not a team looking to score quickly, but if they do get the opportunity, as 33 Marcus Mason tips that ball back in, as I mentioned, a very good offensive rebounding team. You've got to get a body on Ball State, even though they're not real big.
But they sure are good leapers, and there's an outside shot.
Tell you what, Indiana has shot over 60% 2 games in a row. Really almost an unbelievable stat. Most teams shoot in the 40-45% range anymore, and Indiana's been up over 60.
A.J. Guyton on that last three-point shot. Good move by Clemens in the lane. Can't get the bounce, and Richardson the board.
Look for Indiana to try to attack very quickly.
Rob Turner open and misses. Richardson tries to follow and draws the foul.
Larry Richardson went over the back. Good block out by the Ball State Cardinals.
Number 33 is Larry Richardson.
Mason, just not a real big guy inside, only about 6'4", 6'5", but you can see got some big arms on him. He's very, very strong and has to play big inside for this Ball State team.
State playing on the outside. Trying to get it inside.
Shot clock down under 10. Moody, half of his shots have been three-pointers, so he'll pop it at any time. Mason, not their three-point shooter. Good recognition by Moody right there. That shot by Mason did not hit the rim, so Moody able to rebound it, but he still took the good shot, knocked down the three for Ball State.
9-8, Ball State back in the lead. Guyton
Too hard.
in the lane off Johnson with the rebound.
Good block out by Johnson.
Clemens down and just off the rim. Recker tried for the block. Fast-paced game probably favors Indiana here early.
As we mentioned, Ball State would like to keep this game in the 60s score-wise. They've got 44 straight wins when they do keep it in that scoring range. You see Rob Turner, that's what's really made the difference for Indiana. You got one more guy out there you really have to guard, especially when he gets the ball on the baseline. So quick, has such a quick release. Teams have not come up with an answer for Rob Turner so far.
Switch on top there as Guyton now picks up Moody. Johnson inside spins hard off the board.
Indiana going to play behind Johnson. He's not a big guy, so you're going to make him shoot up over the bigger body Larry Richardson. A little taller, get a hand up.
Ball tipped away. Recker recovers.
Very important to get up into Luke Recker when he's passing. You can't just stand there and let him pick his spots.
Ball was tipped by Moody and then off Recker's hands, out of bounds to Ball State. And it's Indiana up just one as we go to break. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN. 10-9, Indiana leads it just by one. And let's take a look at this series. Indiana leads it 12-1. The last time they played was here in the Hoosier Classic way back in 1983. Here's a good look at Hoosier from Alexandria, just north of Anderson.
Indiana was very effective last night against Drake, not letting them reverse the basketball and get into the offense that they wanted to. Right now, Moody looks like he got fouled there, body by Larry Richardson. The official's not going to call that, but Moody has been the one player that has been able to get to the basket for Ball State.
Out of bounds to the Cardinals.
One thing Indiana's been much better this year is not letting one man drive the lane and break their defense down. In the past, penetration has really killed Indiana. Johnson gets called for the travel after a good shot inside.
Turnover by Ball State.
What Indiana standing around a little last time offensively. This time they got Luke Recker working down on the baseline. Moody's been very effective against Recker. Recker, you can see, trying to be a passer inside. I think he's going to have to start driving that basketball.
Guyton tries to go baseline, loses it, but Gladness picked it up. Spinning move by Rob Turner.
So quick. Good look by Larry Richardson from the high post. But Rob Turner just so effective when he catches that ball down on the block. He can get up off his feet. He releases quickly.
7 points now for Turner. Johnson picks it up in the lane. Jerome Davis, number 3 in the lineup, picked it up the lane and went over to Johnson. Made the move to the basket.
Good fake by Johnson. Wayne Johnson inside. Good pass. Take a look at it inside. Good penetration. You see Wayne Johnson. Good fake right there. Stays, does not travel. You know, holds his feet right there. Indiana, they've gotten to where they've been blocking shots. I imagine Coach Knight's going to talk to them a little bit about positioning themselves defensively rather than jumping every time a guy throws up a shot.
Johnson off on that first free throw.
Only a 64% shooting as a team. Ball State only shoots 64% from the line, so not a great shooting team at all.
There's Josh Murray. First time we've seen him, 6'7". He's from North Central High School, Indianapolis. At 10 points. He's a freshman. And second one by Johnson is good. That brings 45 in. Lonnie Jones, 6'11", 215, a freshman from Gary Wallace. So now Ball State's got some size in the game.
Look for Luke Recker to start catching and probably driving the basketball. Kind of been looking right now. Good post speed right there. Looked like Jones might have got a hand on that basketball. Altered that shot just a little bit.
Good move on the baseline. Dwayne Clemens got around Rob Turner, hit the jumper.
He is their #1 scorer, as we mentioned, comes in averaging almost 13 points a game. Last night had a team-high 16, hit 3 of 4 from the three-point line.
Shot fake by Luke Recker, and then swishes that one through.
See, Ball State's been playing him very tight. That time he gives a little shot fake, he drives to the basket, and the longer they continue to play him tight, he's going to continue to probably do that, probably drive the basketball. Indiana's pressure not really bothering Ball State right now. Good knock away by Larry Richardson. Good hand. Didn't come over. Somebody needs to pick Guyton up right away for Ball State.
Guyton all the way to the hoop. Oh, that reverse layup.
Jordan Nabbs right there. Michael Jordan, where are you?
Reached way around to lay that one in.
Golf, Laz, is that where Jordan is? Probably.
Probably. But I think A.J. had seen that move. Now Clemens steps on the line, out of bounds to Indiana. So again, the defensive pressure has caused some turnovers here.
Early Ball State handled the pressure pretty well. But the last couple times, Indiana, and it seems like each game has been like that the last 4 or 5 games. Indiana starts out slow defensively, and the pressure just picks up gradually, more and more. A.J. Guyton
threw that one away. Really not a lot of pressure there. Recker couldn't come up with it. 3 turnovers for Indiana. Bob Knight on the Indiana bench. 6-0 is his record against Ball State. Moody from the outside.
Hello.
Jones on the rebound.
We mentioned they're good offensive rebounding team. You've got to get a body on him. Jones comes in at 6'11", and excellent right there, getting to the basket, finishing.
Good timing there. Puts it back in. Ball State pretty tenacious on the D now. Look at that, 11. Patrick Jackson right up on Guyton.
Jackson just got his hands all over Guyton.
Jackson, of course, from Muncie, Delta High School. There you see Jones coming in right. Just laying that one in.
Really getting to the basket. That's where you really got to get a body out on them 10 feet away from the basket. Can't wait for him to get inside.
Recker on the out-of-bounds throw. That's a 3-point shot.
Luke Recker hits a lot of big baskets for this Indiana team.
Lead is 5 now. 12 minutes left, first half.
Important for Ball State to continue to try to break down Indiana's defense by driving the basketball, as Murray does right there.
Good help by Washington. Tipped away by Haston. And Indiana's built their lead to 5 here. Still early. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+.
Just reaches around, knocks the ball away. Good job by Rob Turner of turning his head, seeing where the basketball is on the other end. A.J. Guyton leaves outside the paint, still able to get all the way on the other side of the basket and get the finger roll in.
Guyton 5 points already tonight.
Patrick Jackson, basically a point guard, but he will take the 3-point shot. Over half of his shots this year have been 3-pointers.
Good drive to the hoop there. He lays it in on the left hand. Foul by Turner. Very excitable young man. Of course, he led Delta to the state championship game a few years ago against the Bloomington North.
He's real excited out here so far, and after that move, he ought to be excited. That was a nice move. Switched to his left hand up and off the glass. He was talking to A.J. Guyton just a little bit on the other end of the floor. So this should be an interesting matchup. We'll watch that.
Misses on the shot and tipped away by Indiana, though. Ball State will have it.
Good call by the officials, by Sam Licklider. Lynn Washington got his hand on that ball, not able to control it, just tapped it out of bounds.
Ball State, a very good rebounding team. You can see why they have so many more offensive rebounds than their opponent.
So the one weakness for Indiana that Coach Knight really worries about is the rebounding.
Move inside Mason, just off. He grabbed his own rebound. And Haston with the foul.
Missed the shot, but went right back up and got the rebound. I'm sure Marcus Mason would like to have that over. And he makes an excellent move, little drop step, gets the angle. Should have used the board right there. That's why the glass is up there. You can see Kirk Haston has a lot of ball, but he's over the back.
Jackson on the baseline misses. Haston brings it down. Dane Fife down the lineup for Indiana.
Dane Fife handles the ball a little bit better than he did last night. Coach Knight was not happy the way he was handling the basketball. With the pressure from Ball State, continue to put a lot of pressure on Indiana wherever the ball is.
And then Washington with a move on the baseline and a foul. That one goes on Wayne Johnson.
I think if you take another look at that, it almost looks like he hooked him down on the baseline. Looks like Len Washington hooks him right there. That's a hook. In the NBA, that'd definitely be an offensive foul. In the college game, only called about 30% of the time.
Drop pass by Recker is stolen. He's trying to go to Fife.
Talked about the passing, trying to thread the needle. Coach Knight did last night. That's the one thing Indiana continues to do. The pass isn't there. You've got to be patient, spread it out, go back at it one more time. Indiana throws the ball away.
Clemens on a drive that time. Mickey Hoser back in, Jackson out.
I would think that you would see Patrick Jackson play a lot of minutes tonight. He matches up much better against A.J. Guyton than Mickey Hoser does.
Now Haston way outside on Mason.
Ball State doing a very good job being patient, looking, getting the shots they want. When certain people get the ball in their hands, they're able to take the ball, drive it. Moody has been one of those players, able to drive the basketball, create problems for Indiana's defense.
Mason thought about the three, now drives the lane.
Very nice, very nice.
And lays it in.
Good left hand by Marcus Mason getting down the lane. That's the one thing that's really hurt Indiana over the years. As they get into the Big Ten, that's the thing people do in the Big Ten against them. They penetrate and dish.
Mason, one of the two seniors on the team, averages 9 a game. Wayne Johnson, the other senior. Now it's Recker inside, misses, and Washington stays after it. Throws it out of bounds. He was trying to go outside to Fife.
Well, he's a little bit unfortunate right there. William Gladness is sitting at the half-court line. He swung around real quick, and all he saw was the Indiana jersey, and he fired it right to William Gladness. It was a good pass. Unfortunately, William Gladness was standing out of bounds.
He was waiting to check in, right.
He was waiting to check in.
We don't have anybody that small. He was sitting down. He's only 3 feet tall. We wouldn't put something like that in the game. 19-18, Ball State within 1. They have the ball. Moody off the dribble, misses everything.
Good rebound. Good rebound by Haston. That's a very difficult one to rebound. That's a travel by Fife in the corner. That's a good call by the officials.
6 turnovers now for Indiana. And just 10.5 minutes into the game.
Dane Fife. Coach Knight's been very happy with his play as far as his toughness, his defensive pressure. The one thing he has got to improve on is his turnover ratio, handling the basketball. He is a guard. If he's going to handle the basketball, you just cannot continue to turn the ball over.
Another chance for Ball State to take the lead.
Mason being very big down inside, very big, very strong. Clemens able to knock the three-pointer down. Last night he knocked down 3 or 4.
He got the good roll there. Ball State up by 2 on the three-point shot. Haston, the jump hook is off.
Kind of a hurried shot by Haston. The defense did a nice job getting back in on him. He needs to throw the ball back out, reposition himself, get the ball back.
Inside they go to Johnson. Up by Recker.
Good move.
Just a little hard off the board.
Recker really didn't get down there and pin Johnson to where he can't turn. You want to get down there and make the guy where he cannot turn.
Guyton into the lane. Very good crossover dribble there as he got himself into the lane and drew the foul.
We talked about whenever Hoser is in the game, A.J. Guyton feels very confident that he can get to the basket. Not only is he a little bigger, he's probably stronger, quicker. That's why I think we would see Patrick Jackson get a lot of minutes here for Ball State tonight. A.J. Guyton shooting 2.
A.J. off on the first.
An excellent free throw shooter. Comes up just a little bit short right there.
85%, one of the best on the team. It's the second.
Indiana needs to be a little bit better concentrated. 2 or 3 guys, excellent shooters, sometimes just kind of go up there and flip it up. Concentrate each and every time you walk up there to that strike.
Moody on the drive and got that shot over Haston.
See, they're driving the baseline very successfully against Indiana. Indiana not able to put the pressure on they were against Drake last evening.
5 steps behind the line. Haston offensive rebound.
Johnson got away with a foul right there. Good no call by the officials. Good rebound by Kirk Haston.
Indiana down by 1. Tough angle on that pass. Johnson got a block and stayed with it.
Took it right back up. Kind of lost where he was on the floor. Got underneath the basket, but went right back up. This is a team that's going to battle you all the way to the end.
Recker open for 3. That one off. Fife right there. And the foul on Hoosier as he and Fife collided.
2 times in a row, Indiana's taken 3s off of 1 pass. Not really what Coach Knight's looking for.
And Michael Lewis will be in the lineup when we come back. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+.
Indiana's defense been very successful. You can see they run out. Good shot fake by Moody, driving the baseline, and Ball State has been very effective driving the baseline, opening things up. Indiana comes over to double team. They've been dropping it to the middle. Ball State been very patient getting the shots that they want.
Lewis in the lineup, gets it out to 5.
Michael Lewis usually inserted into that lineup to get the ball to the Indiana scorers.
Good spin by Guyton. He falls short on the shot.
Still, A.J. Guyton able to get good looks at the basket against Mickey Hozier.
Brian Burns, 25 in the lineup. Falls down on that pass. Fife to the hole.
Good pass by William Gladness. Gave the ball up early. Gave Dane Fife a chance to get the ball, do with it what he needed to. That's what we talked about right there. Ball State cannot turn the basketball over. Indiana takes turnovers and they turn them into easy points. Luke Recker almost gets a hand on it right there.
Switch now as Moody picked up by Gladness, and Recker not able to get back to Burns.
Brian Burns, another big body, but Moody really has a good idea of what they want to do out here. He's making the good passes. He sees the Indiana defense, sees the open people as you see Hozier get beat once again by Guyton. You're going to see Patrick Jackson quickly.
Personal foul, Ball State.
Jackson ready to check in now.
Yeah, right there he is.
Third personal for Team 6. Cardinal substitution.
You look at Ball State. See how Moody kind of backs it out? Indiana gets confused defensively. Recker, there was a switch right there. Recker did not get back to the switch. Michael Lewis with a nice little tip in right there. Indiana's guards doing a better job of rebounding on both ends of the floor lately.
Jackson down quickly for Ball State. Gladness goes for the steal.
Good strong hands right there by Burns.
That left Moody open, but Gladness comes back for the board. Guyton now guarded by Patrick Jackson.
Lewis can also shoot the 3. See the bump right there by Burns.
6'9", 260.
Indiana will be shooting the 1 and 1 for the rest of the half. The rest of the 6:01.
Burns just a sophomore. 8 freshmen on this Ball State team. 4 sophomores, so it's a young team. Playing hard right here with Indiana. They lead by 1. 6:01 left. First half, Indiana with an unusual lineup. Really 4 guards. Guyton, Recker, Fife, and Lewis. Gladness, only real big guy for Indiana.
Gladness hits both free throws, but able to match up against this Ball State team. Not a real big team. Even Marcus Mason, who is considered a forward, really not anything more than a big guard anymore. He's only about 6'4".
Ball tipped away by Indiana.
Originally pointed it was Indiana ball, but he knew all along that he wanted it. Ball State deserved that basketball. It was off of Indiana.
Now Gladness steps out.
That's a good double. Or that's a good step out. Not an easy move to make. They left him. They gave Moody the shot. Good job by Moody. He's being very patient, reading the defense very well.
And that 3 puts Ball State back in the lead. 9 lead changes already in this game.
Ball State needs to continue to put a lot of pressure on the basketball.
Ball State comes
got a
up.
Timeout. They want a 20. Good hustle by Marcus Mason. Good defense by Ball State.
And a rule change there. You see the coaches can call timeout. Looked like Ray McCallum got the official's attention on that 20-second timeout, which is brought to you by Spies. IU set some records last night, 20 steals, a new team record, and a new classic record, the 56-point margin of victory.
Oh, it was an outstanding game. The second game in a row, Indiana has shot the ball over 60%, but it still starts on the defensive end for Indiana. You see a good shot by Moody right there, and as I mentioned, he's the one guy that seems to be very in the game as far as reading the defense, what Indiana's trying to do, and what Coach McCallum has set up for Ball State, what they want to get accomplished out there, and he's been very good at keeping their offense patient.
Both teams shooting well from behind the arc. Ball State's got the lead by 2. And a block. Michael Lewis tried to pick up the charge inside on Jerome Davis. And the call goes against Lewis.
Number 24, Michael Lewis, is first personal on the Team 6.
Bob Knight contemplates his next move. Yeah, it's a hard-fought game by both teams.
That's a charge right there.
And Fife, same position or same spot on the floor that Lewis was, but in a little better position that time as he draws the foul. Ray McCallum off the bench.
Moody gets up holding his right wrist. You can see right here, Dane Fife moves into position. That's a charge every time. They're going to call that one, even though it looked a little bit like he moved over in position. A.J. Guyton comes back, knocks down the 3.
Guyton really set for that one and gives Indiana the lead. Tough angle there, but Davis comes up with it.
He had to worry about it. He had 1 foot in the three-point lane. He was trying to get out of there.
Back out to Moody. Indiana recovers well. Gladness with the steal.
Great hustle by Gladness.
And good play by Moody as Indiana tried to fast break, and Moody nearly took it away from Michael Lewis.
Well, you see the save by William Gladness. Good defensive pressure. You see, gets over, his foot's on the line right there. That should have been a Ball State basketball. But then Michael Lewis loses control. He feels like Dane Fife's going to get it. Dane Fife continues on up the floor. Now Lewis goes over, tries to get it. But I'll tell you what, that's a tough call right there. Neither player has possession of the basketball. Both players going after it. Sometimes the official will just let that one go.
Moody picked up the foul there, and that put Lewis on the line. Ball State now with 19 fouls.
Well, and very important, you can see Coach McCallum not happy at all. That's Moody's second foul in about the last, minute. So he's been a very important player for them out here. You can't lose him.
Patrick Jackson leads the offense.
Hey, what? With Burns sets a pick out there, that's a big one. 260.
Jackson on the baseline. There's Burns, left-handed. This is Clemens, and he nails a 3 on the pick by Burns.
Good shot by Clemens. He was hot last night, continues it tonight.
Tied up now at 33. Just under 4 minutes left, first half.
The intensity on the defensive end is just so much better tonight against Indiana than Drake. Last night, Drake pretty much let Indiana throw the ball wherever they wanted to throw it. See, they're helping down inside on Recker. Recker's a little bigger than Moody. Quick shot right there as the shot clock down under 5. Recker lets one fly.
Now move inside. That's Clemens.
Not the shot Ball State wanted. After the good penetration, Indiana picked him up. He should have passed it to the bigger man, Burns, inside.
And now Fife is down again.
Well, Dane Fife went up to set the back screen for William Gladness, and Burns saw him coming. He definitely lowered his arms and just kind of knocked him over right there.
Burns picks up the foul. Dane Fife at the line.
If you're going to foul somebody, you just won't get them good so they remember it.
Fife a good game last night.
It's way short.
That's an air ball. Actually hit the net. Still considered air ball.
I think the Ball State fans that are here definitely consider it an air ball. No doubt about that.
It's the second.
Concentration.
As Indiana has the lead by 1, you're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+. Ball State, it's been close the whole first half. Now it's Indiana by 1. Penalty changes, 2 ties. Ball State came out ready to play. Good game plan. They put good pressure on Indiana. Ray McCallum.
I feel like anybody can play in today's college basketball as long as you go out and put pressure defense on people. I mean, you wonder why teams like Duke are always good. It's because they always are out pressuring the ball on the perimeter. They don't let people pass around. You know, where I live in Cincinnati, the University of Cincinnati. They're always in the game because they put pressure defensively on. You see another quick shot by Clemens. Not the type of shot probably Coach McCallum not looking for that quick a shot down inside.
Indiana doing a better job keeping the offensive rebounds for Ball State now.
Indiana's offense a lot tighter. Ball State doing a nice job not giving them the opportunity to make the cuts down inside.
Guyton on a drive. Floating out of bounds on that shot. Barely hits the rim.
Good pressure defense by Jackson. You can see that time A.J. Guyton definitely wanted to take Jackson one-on-one.
Jackson, 5 guarding him.
Very quick feet.
And out of bounds. There's Moody. Really looking out of bounds. Antoine Randall and Jackson be a nice matchup. We may see a little later here. 6 turnovers now.
About the same size. I think Randall just a little bit more powerful built.
Now inside move. Brecker off the glass. Can't get it.
Brecker not able to finish down inside. You've seen Luke Brecker usually draw the foul or finish. Neither one tonight. Tough matchup right there. Davis much bigger than Dane Fife.
Gives us 5'1" with Jerome Davis, 5'190.
See, good recognition. Taking the ball right at him.
Now Gladness inside.
Right there. Johnson whacked him across the arm right there. Got away with the foul.
Ball State by 1 minute. 40 left, first half. And a whistle. That'll be on 5 as he tries to stay with Jerome Davis.
Personal foul, Indiana, number 11,
17 fouls, so Davis will be at the line.
7, number 3 at the line, Jerome Davis.
60% shooter from the line.
Been there a number of times.
And he hits the first. Ball State now 2-point lead. And hits both there. Marcus Mason back in for Davis. And now some full court pressure by Ball State. Like a little zone press. Goes way out to Gladness.
Good decision by William Gladness. Dane Fife breaking right there.
Jackson tries to pressure Guyton.
Tries Ball State to put a little more full court pressure with their size and quickness, especially when Patrick Jackson's in the game. Gives them a lot of quickness out there on the perimeter.
Inside, Gladness. Tries to move baseline, does, and hits that shot.
Very good move by Indiana and Gladness.
1 minute left, first half. Ball State by 1 inside.
Look at Marcus Mason get after that basketball.
Moody misses on the three-point
That's a
shot.
big miss for them with only 50 seconds left in the half. That one right there, a three-pointer by Moody, would have been big going to the locker room.
Gladness looking for that ball on the block. Lewis will take a three. It's off. Record the board. And tipped away by Ball State. Shot clock is now off, so Indiana could wait for the last shot. Ball State will make a substitution. Actually, they tried to, but Indiana didn't bounce the ball already.
Coach Knight not calling for one, so Indiana will run their regular offense. Now they're going to back it out.
Indiana will wait for the last shot, 12 seconds.
See the clock in your lower right-hand corner.
Lewis on top.
Guyton's going to get a three. That's exactly what Indiana wants. Short, though.
Tipped by Fife. Out of bounds to Ball State.
2.6 seconds. Glenn Fife almost able to come down the lane and get that rebound. Indiana needs to put a little bit of pressure on right here.
Clements down, just 2 seconds, gets to
Made it. He got it. And it's good.
That'll count. It's a three-point shot. Three-point shot, the buzzer. That's the momentum Ball State was looking for. 40 to 36. Ray McCallum takes the coat off. Pleased with the play of his Cardinals in this first half. It's 40-36 Ball State. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN. Of our halftime show after this. That's brought to you by Citizens Insurance. What's the state without Citizens?
And as you take a look at the stats, they look a little bit strange. Indiana's been blowing everybody out the last 3 or 4 games, and all of a sudden you've got a really good game. Indiana trails at half, and because of it, all the stats are pretty close. Both teams shooting under 50%. You see Indiana 8 of 10 from the free throw line. I'm sure that's one place they're going to continue to pound at as the second half gets around. Rebounds even, turnovers even, points off turnovers, a little bit of an edge to the Ball State, but it's just even statistically, and it's a very even game out on the floor so far. But take a look at the leading scorers. Not a surprise, Clements their leading scorer at 11. He had comes in at 13 a game, Moody 10. They've been the 2 guys Indiana going to have to do a better job of containing those 2 guys. Guyton 9, Turner was 7, so the Indiana guard scoring, but not many points from Indiana big people. See, look for Indiana to come out and really start pounding the ball inside against this Ball State team.
And Ball State knows they're in the game. We'll see how this first 5-minute goes to start the second half. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+. How Ball State ended that half. 2.5 seconds.
Well, it's important for Indiana to put pressure on the ball, but you've got to contain. You can see Michael Lewis runs up on the ball. That's good, but you need to understand Clements left-handed. He's probably going to go left. You'd like to make him go right down the floor, where he'd really have to fire something else. Going left gives him a good angle at the basket, even though it's on the run. And look who's starting for Indiana in the second half.
Number 10 is Antoine Randall, and he's trying to get this team going. There he is. He's going to start off on Mickey Hozier and try to pump some life into this Indiana team. Not that they've been playing dead, but they need something to get them over the hump, getting this lead.
Well, he'll pump some life into it. You can bet on that. He's going to put a lot of pressure on that basketball out front. So Moody continues to handle the basketball very well for Ball State.
Drive to the hoop. Shot was off by Mason. Indiana has it. Here's Randall. Down to Turner. Laying is good.
That's an assist for Randall. That was a really iffy pass right there.
He's a quarterback.
He's a quarterback. Give him a break, right?
He knows how to do that.
Oh, good job by Ball. Oh, you've got to get that one down for Ball State.
Guyton saves it. Indiana has it. Here comes Randall. Slows it down now. Outside is Guyton. Even with Randall in the lineup, the crowd seems to be a little more excited. Also into Turner, layup good.
Two layups from the same spot on the floor. Not a good start for Ball State here in the second half.
Indiana.
A lot of it just coming from pure energy from Randall. And Ray McCallum called the timeout. That's a good one.
20-second timeout as he saw this momentum switch. Ball State had it going into the locker room. Indiana has it coming out of the locker room. This 20-second timeout brought to you by Finish Line. Mentioned Indiana has hit the century mark twice in a row now. Back-to-back wins for the 4th time in school history. Never have they scored 103 in a row. Watch this pass.
Take a look. Good hands. It's an excellent pass, but good hands by Turner. Soft hands, able to catch, finish right there. Moody, very probably fortunate he didn't get called for the foul right there. And then good drop-off pass right here. Drecker had him lined up the whole way. And remember, Ball State got the ball right where they wanted it the first time down the floor.
Clements missing on that shot. It goes out of bounds. So they're getting the shots. They're just not falling. Now a little full-court pressure by Hozier. McCallum needs to get his team going. He is up and ready to try to do that.
Ball State needs to continue to pound that ball inside.
Guyton all alone. And the ball stripped. Good defensive play by Clemens.
He got fouled, but the official didn't feel like there was enough there to call it.
Indiana's picked up their intensity.
See Clemens a little bit out of control the last couple times he tried to drive into the middle.
And especially on the defensive end. That shot by Moody off. Drecker and Moody collide, and that ball was an air ball. Didn't hit anything.
See Coach McCallum talking to his team. Guys, that's not what we want. Take some time, work the ball around. The first time down the floor, they got exactly what they wanted. They got the ball down inside to Johnson. He missed the layup, but that's what you got to do. You got to continue to pound that ball inside against Indiana. Try to get to the free throw line.
Recker trying to post up inside. Tough pass, and Gladness throws it away.
Good defense by Ball State. They're really dropping back on the Indiana inside players. Make it tough for them getting the ball inside. Indiana's going to have to hit some jump shots. You can bet they're going to make Randall L. They're going to back off Randall L. They're going to make him hit the jump shot.
Traveling as Hoosier was double teamed by Turner and Randall L. Indiana now a chance to take the lead.
See, get a tie up right here on the side. You can see he just falls down. Really no bump right there. First I thought maybe the Indiana player would have bumped him. He just kind of lost his feet right there.
Gladness at the free throw line. Recker, baseline shot in and out. What a good shot for Recker.
Good defense by Ball State again. Indiana not able to get the ball where they wanted in their offense.
Good steal. Gladness had his eye on the ball and made the easy steal.
Looks like the first half of the Drake game last night.
And Hoosier nearly comes up with a steal at the other end.
And then Indiana forcing a lot of turnovers. In the first half, Ball State did a very good job of reading the defense, seeing the defense. This half, they're just throwing the ball to the open man, not reading the defense, and because of they've thrown it away about 3 times.
3 minutes now into this second half. Ball State still scoreless. Guyton misses. Easy tip throw for Gladness.
William Gladness, sweet right there. That was really nice. Excellent timing, going to the opposite side. That's where the ball usually rebounds if it's shot from one side and come off the other. So the defensive pressure has really picked up. Rob Turner's going to get that call right there, but still, that's important for Indiana. Continue to put the defensive pressure out on the ball.
Turner now with 3 fouls.
Take a look at A.J. Guyton driving down inside. Good shot, comes off. That's perfect timing right there. That's sweet.
Look at Antoine moving his feet. Keeping Hoosier on the outside.
Always beats you to the spot right there. There's a charge.
Offensive foul. Turner a little risky there, as he knew he had 3 fouls, but knew he's in good position, and he draws the charge.
I think that shows how far Rob Turner's come. A year ago, I don't know if he knew what a charge was when he came to Indiana. You can see his defensive pressure is much better. Stepped in there, took the charge. Very important to turnover. Once again, no shots for Ball State. The offensive end of the floor. Ball State's got to back off Randall L. Make him show them that he can shoot the basketball.
Turning jump shot by Gladness. That was a tough shot, but he hit it.
See, he dumps the ball down inside. Randall L. being he dumps the ball down inside. You've got to back off, make him hit the shot.
Now they go inside. Mason, and that shot tipped.
Ball State really forcing things right now, not taking their time, not taking the good shot.
Recker,
he'll hit that one.
It is a 3-pointer.
They've outscored them.
9-0.
11-0 to start the half.
11-0 now in the second half. Rebound Recker.
Look at Recker go up. That's as high as he's been all night to get a rebound. The kick. That was a tough pass. No way that was going through. We're fortunate that Hoosier kicked it.
And the crowd into the game, and the Hoosiers lead it by 7. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+. Indiana now with the lead 47-40, and listen now to the sounds of college basketball.
Oh, boy, does that get you excited, huh?
That's going on. For a rebound, Recker with that last one. 8 points, 3 rebounds.
Now, do you think he heard that sound at halftime is why he's familiar with that?
May have. But this is a different team. 0 for 6. Ball State has not made a shot in the second half. Randall Randall thought about it, drives in.
Good shot. That's a good shot. That's one Coach Knight will take. It's a good look. At least they know you'll shoot it. You've got to make them aware that you're going to shoot the basketball.
Davis couldn't come up with it. 10th turnover for Ball State.
Ball State substitution, number 11, Patrick Jackson.
Turnover, but that's about the third or fourth one so far. Good substitution by Coach McCallum, getting Patrick Jackson a little quicker back in the basketball game.
And he's matched up with Antoine Randall. Speed on speed with that.
Tough pass by Rector right there. Not much room.
Gladness.
Oh, yeah. Swatted out of there. Jones.
6'11", Lonnie Jones tipped that one away. Timeout called by Patrick Jackson. He was about to go out of bounds and wisely calls for the 22nd timeout.
Coach Randall L. putting the defensive pressure on her. I think knocked it away. Almost got Jackson leaning out of bounds. Look at the block on the other end by Jones. Wow, that's great timing right there. I'm sure Coach Knight's going to talk to Gladness, make that same spin, little head fake, duck up and under, and you'll have yourself a layup.
So Ball State will have the possession here. Almost just 5 minutes, just past 5 minutes gone in this second half. Indiana's outscored Ball State 11-0.
Be interested to see how Patrick Jackson handles the defensive pressure.
Now Ball State with 6 guys on the floor. They made a substitution. Clemens did not come out. It was handled before action got started.
Coach Knight not saying anything about it. Sam looked right on top of it.
No violation.
Interesting to see Patrick Jackson. A lot of confidence. I'm sure he'll try to take Randall L. as soon as he gets the opportunity. And he does right there. Try to get to the basket. If he creates problems. A lot of havoc on the floor.
That left Mason open as Randall double teamed, and Ball State has scored for the first time in the second half.
Points of the second half. Took them almost 6 minutes into the second half to score.
Turner, tough shot there as he faded away on a little jump hook. And here comes Jackson. Moody goes inside, and that left Jones alone for the jam. Ball State makes its comeback. They trail by 2.
Hey, well, he is a big guy. I mean, he's 6'11". He's got long arms. He didn't have to jump very high to throw that one down.
Guyton.
That's not the shot Coach Knight wants right there. With Rob Turner up on the glass. That's the time down the floor you definitely like to see Rector or Guyton taking that jump shot. But it's nice to see Randall L. step up. He's not afraid.
Turner will be at the line.
Take a look. Good pass, good positioning by Jones, getting in the right position. But tell you what, he got right up there and threw that one down quite easily.
Turner on the miss. 73% on the season. Well over his season's average again. As it keeps going up. It's the second. Indiana by 3.
The intensity has really picked up here in the second half.
Rector down. Davis missed on the layup. Randall 3-on-3.
Good pull-up by Guyton.
Just off Gladness. Indiana regroups. Foul on Jackson.
Ball State continuing to get the ball down inside where they want it. But they've got to convert those easy shots. They've had a couple of them here in the second half that I'm sure they would like to have back.
Clemens back in the lineup for Davis, so
Very
they
small
goes
right
to a
now.
small lineup.
Almost like a 4-guard offense. Mason just not a very big forward in there at 6'5". I think they're stretched it at 6'5".
Guyton in the lane. Jones can't get to that one, although Guyton misses the shot.
But see, there's the difference right there. If Indiana will continue to go to the boards like Gladness did right there, Jones came over trying to block the shot. Indiana gets the rebound.
10 points now for Gladness. Indiana by 5. Oh, good crossover by Clemens.
They had a lot of success. Oh, boy. That one almost went down. Getting to the middle.
Wrecker on the drive. Jones.
There he is again. It's a 2-on-1.
Interception. Randall L. read the pass.
He's a quarterback, not a DB, but he looked like a defensive back right there as he just stole it away. And there's that might be the turning point in the game right there. That steal made it half court by Randall L.
Great anticipation, and Indiana scores at the other end, and a chance for a three-point play.
I'll tell you what, you take a look at it. This is right where we're looking at it from. It looks like 2-on-1, a bucket for Ball State. Randall L. says, oh, no, no. Then A.J. Guyton takes advantage, gets inside. Jones doesn't go up, try to block that, gets the leaner. That might be the turning point for Indiana right there.
Now, you got to believe he played a little defensive back in high school with a move like that.
I imagine he played wherever he wanted to in high school.
Great play, and it really starting him in the second half has been the difference in this game as Indiana's got on track now. An 8-point lead. Indiana's biggest of the night.
You don't think your buddy Cam Cameron's got a smile on his face, do you?
He does.
Not any bigger than the smile Randall L's got on his face. Kid loves to play. Indiana doing a better job doubling down in the post. Great pressure right there by Randall L.
Johnson misses on the three-point shot. Here's Randall L. Throws it down. Finds Gladness under the hoop to Wrecker. Layup and a foul.
Ball set up again by Randall L. It's a tough pass inside. Great catch by Gladness. Hits Wrecker cutting to the basket. You're going to get a look at it. Ryder coming right at you. Look at the catch. Looks like it's going right out of bounds. Gladness catches patient, grabs the arm of Wrecker, knocks it down. Indiana now with the 10-point lead, looking to go up 11.
And Wrecker hits it.
What a great
and a
8 minutes for Indiana.
Terrific. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+. Indiana set a classic record, 25 steals in the two games, 20, of course, yesterday, 5 tonight. Bob Knight talking with the officials, ready to go. Mickey Hoosier back in the game for Ball State. Jackson is out.
See, they're going to start setting a screen out there, trying to open up a little the pressure that Randall L. is putting on the ball.
Inside, good move by Murray.
Good move by Josh Murray.
And he hits it.
Talked about that on the other end of the floor. William Gladness give him a little shot fake, go up and under as Josh Murray did right there. Zone defense. You see Randall L., not the guy that's going to shoot the basketball, so they're going to go to a zone real quick.
Gladness misses.
Good move inside, though. That's exactly what Indiana's looking for.
Haston in the lineup for Indiana.
Ball State's going to have to play a better zone defense than that.
Three-point shot is good by Clemens. And Ball State makes a run. They trail by 6.
Indiana was just up 11.
5 straight points by Ball State. Guyton thought about it. It's the zone defense going to move that ball back and forth, make that zone work.
Well, more than anything, they just want to get Indiana out of the middle of the floor. Indiana was able to get the ball down inside. They were scoring a lot of easy baskets, driving to the basket. The zone's going to cut that off. Indiana's going to have to get into their mind what they want to do against the zone.
Good defense by Haston.
Indiana's defense much better, not able to drive against Indiana as much as they were in the first half. Good shot right there.
Clemens misses. And the rebound. Ball State misses on the second shot. Johnson.
This is where Indiana's been scoring points. Coming down before they're able to set up defensively, Ball State. Good hands once again by Gladness. It's a tough pass, but he's coming up with some great catches inside.
That pass from Wrecker. He's got good hands, reaches out with one, and pulls it in. Gladness will be at the line.
But Jerry Rice inside, coming up with those catches.
At the free throw line, William Gladness, 2 shots.
Yeah, Gladness make a heck of a tight end, wouldn't he?
Big one.
Misses on the first.
the way Coach Knight looks at that play right there, there's a chance Indiana had an opportunity to score 3 points. Now they might come away with 1 if he's able to hit that second free throw. He had a pretty good look at the basket, not able to get the roll. Gladness with 1 free throw left. Got 1.
He does. Indiana by 7.
See Josh Murray, he's got the scorer mentality. Every time he gets the ball in his hands, he's looking to score points.
Clemens on the shot off. Randall L has it. 3 on 1. And Hoosier guessed right, but Guyton avoided the charge and got it to Record.
He sure did guess right. Great break by Indiana. Randall L. The no-look pass, Hoosier did guess right, but the touch pass by Guyton. Take a look at it. Boom. Hoosier guesses. Guyton able to avoid the charge. Good hands. Good layup by Recker. That's the way you run the fast break. We saw that earlier. Last night, Indiana ran the break. Ball doesn't touch the floor. Touches nothing but the net.
Clemens off. Gladness high for that rebound.
See, they're starting to throw up jump shots with not the patience they had in the first half, not making the Indiana defense work.
Man-to-man now by Ball State. Randall L off the dribble. Hits the jumper. That's a 3-pointer.
Again, not what Coach Knight's looking for offensively, but right now he's looking for somebody to get them into the game, and Randall L has been the guy to do that as Mason comes down and answers, knocking the 3 down for Ball State.
Mason now at 12 points.
Ball State not going away, and the zone has given Indiana some problems so far. Indiana gets to standing around a little bit.
Hoosier tipped it out. Recker let it go out of bounds. And Moody checks back in.
Randall L's going to have to drive that ball down in there to about the free throw line, and then you can look for either Gladness or probably Recker out on the wing. They're not going to play him real tough. They're going to make him show him that he can score. That's a tough pass. Too long a pass right there.
Deflected by Murray and stolen.
Continues to apply the pressure defensively. There's Josh Murray. He's a good scorer and continues to try to score. Randall L with another save for Indiana. Good rebound, great save into Kirk Hastings.
There's the zone, 2-3. Hastings looks opposite. Recker's on the baseline.
Recker wanted it right there. He had 3 in his mind right there. Shot clock to 10.
Now it's Guyton at the point. Now Recker.
Got it that time. Bingo. Oh, that's off Gladness, yep.
Tried the one-hander on the rebound and could not come up with it. It'll be Ball State ball. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+.
Back in Market Square where Indiana leads Ball State 62-53. It's been the Randall L highlight film here in the second half. The spark Indiana needed. We know he can play defense. It shows he can shoot the jumper right there. Look at him go after the rebound right there. Able to keep the ball inbounds. Good rebound going after. You take a look at him right there with Ron Felling on the bench.
3 points and 2 rebounds. That sheet doesn't always tell the whole story.
No, not at all. The emotional lift that he has given this team has been something that I didn't know if we'd see from anybody coming out of the locker room.
He's played quite a bit. He's played 13 minutes, almost 13 in the second half. Needs a break. He'll be in shortly. Dane Fife in to replace Randall L, and an air ball by Moody.
You can see the confidence for this Ball State team is not the same as it was in the first half. That's about the 4th air ball they've shot here in the second half. The first half they had a lot better confidence. The main reason that Coach Knight has taken Randall L out of there is because of this, the zone defense. You want somebody in there that can stand out there, either look up over the top of it as Dane Fife being a little taller can do. Dane Fife, great pass by William Gladness. William Gladness has just made a huge difference for this Indiana team on both ends of the floor here tonight.
As Hastings finishes with the jam.
Look at him. Another one right there.
Gladness comes up with it.
Guyton will look to pull up if nobody picks him up.
Hoosier right there. Now Wrecker baseline. Haston again. Gladness.
Good passing. Interior passing. Just wonderful. And Coach Knight not real happy because he's wondering how can he not get that ball in the basket. But tell you what, when he sees that on film, I think he'll be real happy as far as the interior passing. The guys passing the basketball was just fantastic.
So Gladness back at the line.
2 free throws. Gladness number 38.
It's his 12th point. You see it's a double-double, 12 points, 10 rebounds. Clemens comes back in for Moody.
Replacing number 41, Cedric Moody.
Gladness again, well above his season free throw percentage as well. Now Fife on Hoosier.
Timeout.
Called by Ray McCallum. A lot of dribbling and not much offense. And he will take a full timeout. Try to get his team back in the game. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+. Put up 13 points here in this second half. They lead it by 13 points. As you see, Ball State only one timeout left. Indiana only one team foul in this second half. So a long time yet before Ball State will be at the line.
Ball State, after Indiana came out so quickly here in the second half, they've not had the patience to take the ball down inside like they did in the first half. They need to continue to pound it down inside. They're bigger, stronger people. The reach around. Haston had good position right there. You push the man out on the floor where you want him to catch the ball, and then you reach around. There's Indiana's second team foul.
That's his second personal. The team's second.
2 on Haston. Ball State ball out of bounds. Goes inside to Davis. And now
great.
He makes the reverse layup and another foul on Indiana.
Great finish by Josh Murray right there. I mean, I don't know who it was. If it was Wrecker who ended up getting the foul, somebody's going to grab his arm. See right here. Right here, Wrecker just grabs his arm. Look at him re-grip the ball and slide it in there. Good strength by Josh Murray. Good passing by Ball State down inside.
First foul on Wrecker.
Indiana not able to pull away from the Ball State Cardinals.
Murray converts the three-point play. Patrick Jackson in for Hoosier.
They're going to go full court.
Full court press. Like a zone, 1-2-2 zone press. And Dyke, now Wrecker. Across the line, 3-on-1. And Ball State recovers.
Right, this job of pulling it back out. Go drop back into the man-to-man.
Wrecker directing traffic right from the free throw line.
Had some success playing zone, but you can see they drop back into man-to-man.
And Gladness takes it in. Right over Gladness.
Good screen by Dane Five. Dane Five had a good screen down on the block. Gladness made the curl move rather than popping out.
15 points now for Gladness. Good drive by Clemens. Not quite enough to finish, and Haston the rebound.
Kirk Hastings come off the Indiana bench. He's got some big rebounds for Indiana.
Now Indiana starts to run the clock. 5:20 left in the game. They become more patient on offense.
Ball goes down inside on the post. Indiana has a tendency to stand. If they would really move, I think Kirk Haston would be willing to pass it to any open man as Wrecker makes a spin move on Josh Murray and gets the foul. Indiana will be at the line. Luke Wrecker will be at the line.
Number 5, Josh Murray.
21 for Wrecker.
Third personal. The team's 8. Luke Wrecker at the line, number 4.
Wrecker approaching his 16-point per game average. That gives him 14. And now 15. He hits both. And a 14-point Indiana lead. Right at the 5-minute mark left in this game.
Jackson losing it out of bounds. Indiana ball.
Indiana got away with some reaches right there rather than moving their feet. Do a little reaching. Patrick Jackson, very quick getting to the hole.
Jackson matched up on Guyton. Indiana just 10 turnovers in the game. And the foul, this one on Murray. He's picked up his fourth foul.
Ball State, number 5, Josh Murray.
He runs over Dane 5.
Personal, the team's 9.
Dane 5 does a lot of good things. Look at him go in. He sets the screen on Josh Murray right there.
Number 11, Dane
Josh Murray tries to run right through it.
Make that 3 on Murray.
Leaned a little on that one, didn't go.
Leaning back. When you shoot free throws, you want your momentum going forward, leaning forward.
And Murray now the drive, and Record picks that foul up. You can tell Murray's an offensive player. He gets that ball and he's going to hoop.
Well, I think as the year goes on, Josh Murray's going to be a guy that just has to play. And you've got to get him in the lineup, and you've got to start playing him more and more. He's a guy that just adds a tremendous amount of offense for your team.
6'7", and just a freshman.
Davis, tough shot there. He gets the left finger to go.
Finger roll. George Gervin finger roll. That's about the only thing he and George Gervin, you know, as far as anything alike about the two of those guys.
Guys outside, man-to-man defense. Indiana taking its time. 10 seconds to shoot.
Plenty of time on the shot clock.
Recker, a good shot in the lane, just off.
Exactly the shot Indiana's looking for with 4 minutes left. You see Coach Knight, he's up yelling at Kirk Haston to back off when Davis gets the basketball. Dane Fife going to get the foul on Clemens. One place Ball State has hurt Indiana is when their big people have gotten the ball like Davis. They've been able to drive down inside 1 or 2 dribbles and get inside on Indiana. Coach Knight wants to play more of a shell-type defense at this point in the game.
Ball State ball out of bounds. 15 foul now on Indiana. Jackson. Fife outside.
Good defense by Dane Fife. Not easy to guard a real quick guard like Jackson.
There's Moody alone. Fife and Gladness putting aside.
Good hands by Gladness. If William Gladness, Indiana is able to win this game, he should be your MVP. He has been very, very good for Indiana for 2 nights in a row. Doing a lot of things that don't show up on the stat sheet.
Tipped by Moody. Indiana still has it. Recker posting up inside, but that pass goes out of bounds.
It's a good idea as far as what Dane Fife is trying to do, but he needs to throw the ball with a little bit more touch on it. He fires it in there, doesn't give Recker the opportunity to react when you throw it so hard. You throw it with just a little touch on it, then Recker can move to the ball.
Randall back in, guarding Jackson. Good pass to Davis, and Haston blocked that one. Davis stepped on the line. Indiana ball.
Good block by Kirk Haston inside. Better get ready for some full court pressure. Got to throw it over the top. There's Gladness wide open.
Three minutes left now. Indiana by 12.
I want to pick up the ball too quickly.
Recker inside will be fouled. Moody picks that one up.
Moody's very good at slapping that ball away. Early in the game, they got Recker a couple times. He's going to have to do a little bit better job protecting that basketball. Not to call that time.
Cedric Moody is third personal, the team's 10th. Indiana with the double bonus at Joe Games in. Recker shooting.
Recker at the line. He's been very steady these last few games for Indiana. Rob Turner will check in. He comes in for A.J.
Substitution, number 23, Rob Turner.
As Guyton gets a good hand as he leaves the game.
by 14. They're going to, Coach McCollum going to take his last timeout.
To talk things over again, it's Indiana by 14. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+.
Indiana last night, very involved in the offense, defense. 15 points, 11 rebounds, double-double. Had a good night against a very good Ball State basketball team.
And why he's our synergy power player of the game. Moody looks cross court to Mason. This is on the three. Matchup outside now, Jackson and Randall. Indiana running some time off that clock now. Here's Recker inside, double team, comes back out.
First thing, take it in, take it back out.
Herman.
Oh, he didn't.
Misses on the pass. Randall got it.
Good pass by Randall. That's a foul right there. He'll shoot three. He got him on the hand. No doubt about it. Good call by Sam Licklider. He sure did get him.
Recker thought he had a chance to get that ball. Came across the arm. And that will be 3 free throws.
Usually when you slap down at the last seconds when you're going to get him, he puts the pressure on. He wants to. Watch him slap down. See him slap down. Hits him right on the hand. Good call by the official right there. He'll shoot three.
Let's see if it's 3 or 2.
It's 3.
It is.
Not a great free throw shooter. Comes into the game only shooting 62% from the line.
It's the second. Jones back in.
Number 45
replaces Davis.
I know that Coach Knight, second win, is probably going to get out of here with a win. But I know he feels like with this game, he's got a lot more to go home and work with, you know, for 2 or 3 days as they prepare for that Iowa game, rather than coming here having a 40 or 50-point blowout. You know, everybody feeling good about themselves. Now he can go home. He's got something to talk to him about. Obviously, they need to do some work on a few things.
Team will leave Wednesday for Iowa in preparation for the Thursday game.
You can hear them right here. They're right here beside us.
There you see Indiana shooting in the second half. Much better.
Look at the shooting of Ball State. First half. They're knocking those shots down. They got some good looks in the second half. Not able to knock those down. Shot about it. Down to 5.
Goes to the lane. There's Jones.
Gotta shoot it. Gotta shoot it. Randall realizes it.
It was a 3 and it's missed. Jones makes his presence felt inside. Clemens gets rid of it.
Indiana really guarding the 3-point line.
Jackson inside. There's Jones. Jackson and Jones are going to get along well for the Cardinals this year.
He's a big guy. Steele left it away. Rob Turner doesn't control it.
50 seconds to go. A 10-point lead.
And not finishing this game off very well. Throw it back out, fire up the 3.
Moody's got it.
At some point in time, you got to let one go, whether it's a good shot or a bad one.
Good double team, and
that's a technical. There's no timeout. He sure did. He called for a timeout. There's no timeouts left. When we went away to the last break, we said Ray McCallum called his last timeout. Coach McCallum, he knew it. But Moody got caught down there in the corner. He right there, Sam Licklider, the official, right in front of him. He called timeout.
That's a technical foul. Indiana will shoot free throws and get possession of the ball. It was a double team by Indiana on the baseline, and Moody.
Probably the last time you saw that was in the national finals. If you were, I'm sure that most of the Michigan fans remember it quite well.
I'll tell you, a good game by Ball State as they've come in here and played Indiana very tough.
A.J. Guyton misses 2.
Luke Jimenez now in the lineup for Indiana.
And every point is important. You've got to go up there and knock those free throws down.
Ball State brings in some other players. Shane Franks, number 34 in. 21 is Billy Lynch.
That's a good move by Ray McCallum. Here's some kids from Indiana. He wants them to have the chance to get in there and play against this Indiana team here in front of a lot of home fans here at Market Square Arena. Classy move by Coach Ray McCallum.
Franks is from Monticello, Indiana, Twin Lakes High School. Billy Lynch played with Jackson at Delta High School.
How about that? A team that Lewis Cass actually had on its schedule. The Twin Lakes, huh? How about that?
Twin Lakes. I assume you defeated them.
Actually had a pretty good team the year that we played them.
Indiana running the clock now as the shot clock is off.
Under 10.
And Indiana will go 34-0 now in the Hoosier Classic. Gladness at the buzzer is off. And Indiana, with a very strong second half, has won this 72-62. They won it by 10 as Bob Knight and Ray McCallum meet. And we talked about mental preparation, intensity. This game really boiled down to just a better effort by Indiana coming in mentally in this second half.
Yeah, in the second half. What a great move by Coach Knight getting Randall L. in the game. Really picked up the defensive pressure. Really helped Indiana out tremendously. But you know, it's not easy playing a team like Ball State. I mean, they're the team that they always feel like they get slighted, you know, in the state. Indiana, Purdue, they get all the notoriety. We don't get the, you know, last year Bonzi Wells, you know, All-American candidate there at Ball State. So they come in here with a lot of fire. It's hard to get fired up to play that game because they've got everything to win, nothing to lose. And good effort by the Indiana team in the second half.
Yes, excellent game by Ball State as we await the Alternate team, which we hope to be able to bring to you before we leave the air. And again, Indiana will dot that team very well.
Yeah, I would think that, you know, Guyton, Recker, Gladness, at least those three. I would think that Turner, you know, even a long shot, Randall L. I don't know exactly who does the picking. If I were picking, I would put Randall L. on that team because I think he was probably the key to Indiana coming in with this 10-point victory here tonight.
Speaking of keys, nice segue there. Let's take a look at our key play of the game, sponsored by KeyBank. Helps at every turn. It's got to be the big steal.
It happened right in front of us. A 2-on-1 break. You can see Patrick Jackson thought he was looking at a layup. Steal by Randall L. Just stepped right out there, looked like a defensive back. A.J. Guyton finishes it off with a three-point play, and Indiana built that lead to 9 at that point in time, and it was a huge play, all made possible by Randall L.'s defense.
Ball State now receiving their runner-up trophy and prizes. Indiana, the winner. When you're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+.
Curves, angles, one new shape leading to another. It's the geometry of change at the new Dodge. Change that led to Dodge Caravan, the original minivan that since introduction has offered more innovations than any other, which leads us to this pleasing shape, our best sales curve ever. To continue this trend, we're offering $1,000 cash allowance or 1.9 financing, or get a $239 lease on this Caravan. New shapes, new thinking from the new Dodge. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you for this limited time offer.
They say for every boy and girl there's just one love in this whole world, and I know I found mine.
Oh. Here's an idea. With GTE caller ID, you'll know exactly who's on the line.
Nope, not the kids.
So you can decide whether to pick up or not.
Mom, Dad, home early. Hello? Is anybody here? Hello?
Indiana wins it by 10. Coach Ray McCallum being introduced to come out to receive his award. He did a great job with this Ball State team, and look at the Mid-American Conference, the one they're involved with. They've got an 0-2 start, which is hard to believe, but yet a long way to go.
Well, I don't know if anybody that's followed the MAC very much this year, but they've got an outstanding group of teams. I mean, you've got Ohio, who beat Syracuse earlier this year. You've got You got Miami of Ohio, who might have the best player, if not one of the top 5 players in the country. Wally Zerbiak. You've got Toledo, who beat Ohio State, who's undefeated still. They've got some great teams in that MAC conference, and it's going to be tough for Ball State. And as you said, they're already off to an 0-2 start.
Indiana now moves to 13-2 on the season as they get ready for the Big Ten opener. It'll be this Thursday against Iowa, as Indiana will receive this Hoosier Classic trophy for the 17th time in a row. But let's talk about where Indiana is compared to last year at this time as they get ready for the Big Ten season.
Well, I think it's a much more mature team, understanding what it's going to take as you get into the Big Ten season. And I think it takes maturity to win in the Big Ten, because you need that to win on the road in the Big Ten. Whoever is most successful on the road is going to win the Big Ten. Purdue has been that person in the past 4 or 5 years. They've had the feeling that they can beat people on the road, and they've done that, and because of it, they've won Big Ten championships. 3 of Indiana's first games will be on the road, so Indiana will find out early how they fit into the mix as Indiana receives its prizes now as the Classic champion. Still awaiting the all-tourney team, which has not yet. Yes, it is. We do have it now. Let's see who is on the all-tourney team. Not yet announced here to the crowd. Clemens and Mason from this Ball State team. Turner, Recker, and Gladness from Indiana. As Gladness, you're right, MVP, 26 points, 14 rebounds. He'll need to play strong in the Big Ten season. Our next telecast will be this Thursday when Indiana opens the Big Ten season against the Iowa Hawkeyes. The excitement gets underway at 6 o'clock on most of these ESPN Plus stations. Antoine Randall and Luke Recker hope to make a big difference as Indiana starts its journey to the Big Ten championship. For Ted Kitchell, this is John Laskowski. Good night from Market Square Arena. Game perspective. We'll answer some of your internet questions, and time permitting, we'll take you to the post-game press conference to hear from the coaches and the players. IU Wrap-Up brought to you by Union Federal Savings Bank. All your bank should be. Now, IU Wrap-Up. And welcome back to Market Square Arena, the Union Federal Wrap-Up Show. Indiana has won by 10. The players have just received their awards, the championship trophy, and the all-tourney team just announced as both teams now leave. A.J. Guyton, of course, with the trophy in hand back to Bloomington. Time now for the Ellenberger Report, which is brought to you by Steak & Shake, famous for steak burgers. Let's go down to the court to Ted Kitchell and Norm Ellenberger. Coach, tough game out there tonight. I'm sure a lot of fans came here tonight thinking Indiana's going to win this game by 25 or 30, but I talked to you a little bit before the game, and you knew that Coach McCallum and Ball State was going to come out here and really play hard as they did.
Along with all those fans that showed up that thought that, there were about a dozen basketball players that showed up, yeah. And I thought that too a little bit. Actually, they don't really think that. It's just a case that we have played such extraordinary basketball and won by such margins in the last 2 or 3 ball games that you just get fat. It's just human nature. Now, if you come in and then you come in and play somebody you're supposed to beat, boy, it's easy to fall in that trap. And then doggone Ball State, they cheated. When we tried to reach over and pick up the ball, they dove on it. And then when we tried to trot down the floor, they ran down the floor. Well, they're not supposed to come in there and do that to us.
Well, that's what happened.
They play hard.
I talked a little bit about Coach Knight. Probably, you want your team to come out and play well, but at least now he's got something the next 2 or 3 days. He can really go back and pound on them for a little bit as they practice some things to work on as they prepare for Iowa, rather than going in after beating somebody by 30 or 40 points.
Well, you've got to give Ball State all the credit in the world. I thought they played a tremendous game and never once gave any slack at all. And you can talk about the negatives, but we did outscore a pretty good ball club, 14 points or so in that second half, and get the game under control. So that'll give you some confidence that you can play. Then on the other end of it's what you said. Coach will really have some good, some good fuel, and now all the fun and games are over with. We've had all the fun that we can have. Now it's serious.
Talk a little bit about some individual performances. In the second half, Randall L. Came off the bench. Coach obviously put him in the lineup to ignite the team defensively, but even stepped up and hit a jump shot. Really a wonderful performance by Randall L.
And, you know, we're learning to expect that of him. He's so tough and really got a lot of leadership and just loves to play. And we needed something. You know, you look up and down the bench, and he had most everybody in a certain situation, and we didn't have any spark. There was nobody. And the only guy that had any spark left in him was Randall, and it wasn't much of a decision at halftime by anybody. It was a case of, hey, let's put the little guy in there, and I thought he did a wonderful job. You know, just his presence ignited the whole crew. We scored, what, the first 6 points, and from then on, it's, you know, our ball game.
Outscored them 9-0 coming out of the locker room in the second half. Let's go to Great Clips, brought to you by Great Clips, with over 40 of Indianapolis locations, and we're going to take a look at Randall L.
Well, you know, look at him. Between his legs, right-handed, left-handed, beats a guy, and, okay, now there's a guy who's been playing football for forever and also broke his hand. And, you know, tell me, here he is, dribbling strong, good pass, an open man, and sees the court. I probably don't have him playing any defense since this is an offensive program that's out there in the truck. You know, the truck only knows when the ball goes through the basket, but if you see him on the other end of the court, here he is again, once again, right hand, left hand, good pass down inside. Pretty good basketball, and it was all initiated by his play.
Well, he came in there, and, you know, you expect him defensively to put a lot of pressure, but he stepped up, he took a couple shots, he made some very tough passes, and I really felt like he was the guy that basically won the game there in the second half, really got Indiana moving in the direction they needed to go.
You know, it's amazing how he can handle the ball. You know, he hasn't been out that long, and he's had his... You've been all taped up most of the time.
Hand, yeah.
Of course, those football players are used to that. They put all that tape and all that stuff all over him, and it doesn't make him any difference if you got pads on him or what. He's just going to play.
Before we talk about Iowa, just a little bit about William Gladness. I mean, he was named MVP, and he did an outstanding job, not only scoring points, but on the board and on the glass, made some great catches. A great performance by William Gladness, and it's got to give him some confidence grabbing that trophy here tonight.
And this is what you need to. This is what we've got to expect out of him, and he needs to expect out of himself every night. He doesn't always play that way. He doesn't always play like. He doesn't always have that attitude that he's had now here in the last 2 or 3 weeks. And he's kind of up and down. He gets down on himself and down on everything, and then he pops back up again. And maybe this will springboard him into his last semester of basketball in college. And we need him, no doubt about it.
Talk a little bit about going to Iowa. Iowa has not been a friendly place, as you said. Now it gets serious. We're into the Big Ten season, and Indiana starts with 3 out of their first 4 games on the road. Is this team grown enough in a year to start winning basketball games on the road in the Big Ten?
Well, you know, now let's go find out. You know, who knows exactly what will happen to some of these kids when they get off into the Big Ten, but I like what we have done thus far. You know, it's played a tremendous schedule. Played good teams. You know, we're not very big, but we played and played against teams with big players. And you know, we can go play. The Big Ten is just going to chew each other up. You know, it's a team that wins the Big Ten is going to be the one that can hang the longest, the one that'll still be there in the last 2 weeks of February and that first week of March, the ones that are just tough enough mentally to go do that. And the mental toughness part comes from winning on the road and going and competing. You know, I was good. I would be hard to beat if they played their cheerleaders. You know, I mean, that's a tough place to play, and those cheerleaders eat, you know, corn-fed and big, strong. You know how that
they're
goes.
Big out there. There's nothing else to
no
do
doubt
out there,
about it.
right?
Okay, well, I don't know. And if Okie is, I don't know whether Okie's going to be eligible or not.
I don't think he's eligible until the 19th, is what I've been told by the our on the spot reporter Greg Elkin, SID. So, Coach, or Norm, we appreciate you coming out. Have a wonderful New Year, and we'll see you in Iowa.
I'll be there. See you.
Laz, back to you.
All right, thanks, guys. We'll be back with our final stats and announce our super sub of the game.